I'm here with Carlos of Persefone to talk about their latest EP, Lingua Ignota, Part 1, which makes me believe that there's going to be at least, at very least, Part 2. So
Yes.
the EP is out February 2nd on Napalm Records. Thank you very much for taking the time today to chat with me about this latest offering. How's things going with you?
Thank you very much for having me. I'm very happy to see you again the second time. And yeah, things are going very well here.
You guys are all ready for this release date?
Yes, definitely. We are really heavy on the preparation for the next tour, which will start in a week. So right now we are thinking on the road more than in the release, but we are receiving all these interviews and reviews and everything. So we're very happy to be able to see what people thinks about the music we are releasing.
So for those that haven't heard the EP, because the EP, I mean, when people are watching us, the EP is out already, but right now, as we're talking, the EP hasn't been released yet. So for those that saw the title and they see Part 1, obviously there's always going to be the assumption that there will be at the very least Part 2. So can you shed some light into the concept of the EP and the overall concept behind having several different parts to it?
Yes, of course. Lately, I mean, the last, let's say, 5 releases, albums, we've been like exploring the one of the spiritual topics all the time, and we really like to do conceptual albums all the time when it comes to Persephone. So by the time we started thinking of really and recording new music from Metanoia, as a band, we had like a really special time because we have never been that busy with the touring schedule. And also we had this situation with Mark, the singer of the band. He had this personal situation, and we were in the middle of a really complicated times. So this idea of working on an EP instead of working on a full album was an idea that came by thinking it was maybe too much to commit to a full-length release, because making music for Persephone, when it comes to a full album, is a lot of time and it's a lot of effort. We like to take the time and look at every little detail, and we are arguing all the time in the writing sessions, and we were busy playing everywhere. So we had this concept of Lingua Ignota. It was deep enough to talk about it, but maybe too deep to do it in just one EP. So we started working on that piece of music, thinking on the idea of being able to do another part or maybe more parts in the future. Also, my personal idea is to, once this is released, I would love to go straight into a full-length album other than Lingua Ignota Part 2, and then came back to the same topic and see how we have changed as a band and, try to keep moving forward all the time.
One of the interesting things about this EP is that it has that DNA of the band in terms of creating a path in order to, and also a journey. What I thought was really interesting is that it felt to me that the journey was going in a downwards spiral. And what I mean by that is that normally when you're following a record or there's a sense of progression, it kind of takes you towards a climax. And this album became darker, more atmospheric with every passing song, and it felt to me that was going in a completely different direction of what I was expecting coming in. It's really interesting because it breaks the mold of what you would expect on an EP and what you would expect on an album. Is this you guys always thinking outside the box?
Definitely that happens, and when we started writing for an EP, it was the first time we write it for an like full EP, with a lot of songs, and we wanted to reproduce like a mini sonic experience, like we tried to do on the albums. And if you are familiar with them, and I know you are, and we tried to do this kind of a journey kind of idea. So we wanted that to happen with the intro, and especially the last track in the EP is very ballsy, with it's very dark and ambient, as you say. But that's why it's part 1. It was kind of impossible for us to be able to prepare everything with the time we had with the EP to create that super climax at the end. So we accept the idea of that there will be, you know, another part to that, and it was a good cliffhanger to stop there, you know, because I think the for me as the musician, the EP has some moments, you know, there's some cool moments, some emotional moments, some, you know, heavy moments, and then as you say, it goes down slowly, and then you're left with that feeling, you know, that like sad feeling, you know, maybe. But yeah, that happened. You are spot on, and we found that just 30 minutes wasn't enough to create all that needs, you know, for the music to maybe explode as we like to do. So
Yeah,
maybe in part two.
it finishes on a cliffhanger that it's like it feels like the journey is not completed. Like you definitely need something afterwards to
Yes.
find out exactly what's going to happen. So it leaves you wanting more. There's definitely that. It's just to me was really cool because you don't normally see this. You know what I mean? Like an EP, normally people throw a couple of songs together. You know, you put in a cover or a live song or whatever. But you guys actually created half of a journey, if you will, and it's it's the character building aspect of the journey. You know, so I thought was a very different, very unique, and very interesting. Not many bands would take this approach.
I don't know. It's what we like to do, you know, to create like sonic journeys, and then just 4 songs, and we like to have everything like linked together, you know. And in my head, I really don't know if it will be part two and part three or part four or just a part. But I like the idea to have 3 songs, 3 more parts, and maybe one of song of 25 minutes, and maybe it's a full album, you know. We don't really know. The fact that that open is so inspiring for us. There's something else to do, and we can to start to keep working and see if we can create another interesting thing that you can put together and enjoy it in its fullest. It's a kind of a challenge, and it's really inspired for us.
I want to ask you. I'm going to go through all the songs, and I want to ask you some of your thoughts on the tracks. But before we do that, you mentioned the vocalist. Obviously, this is the first album with Daniel, or I shouldn't say album, but the first record, the first EP
Yes.
with Daniel. What kind of impact did he have on the making of these songs?
You know, Danny coming into the band, it's been like a process, you know, because it all started with Mark asking the band for some time, you know, to spend with the family. He had some personal things going on, and he was like, I really need some time to fix some stuff in my life. But we had all these touring commitments. So we agreed to find a guy just to fill in for the live situations, you know, live shows. And then it was when Danny appeared. So Danny, in the first moment, he was just the replacement for the live, you know, commitments we had. So it's been a little bit of a process. He started to feel confident within the band. Then Mark definitely could not come back because of these personal situations, and it was really organic to have Danny in. And you know, he's very young. I mean, or I am very old. I don't know. It's both the same. Maybe it's both of the situations. You know? And I can see that he is very hungry, and I can see that on the performance in the album, on the record. He was so you know, I've been in Persefone the whole time, and I'm always excited with a new release and when I record and everything, but it's not the same anymore. I don't have that. I'm not scared anymore of my performance. I agree with my mistakes. I accept my limits. You know, I'm okay with everything I'm doing. But he is like this kind of perfectionist. You know, he wants everything to be perfect, and you can tell in the first track, One Word, you can see that he did like 5 different vocals on it. It's like his curriculum. Like, I can do all of this. You know, he was hungry to show the world that he was so talented, kind of a talented vocalist. So I think he added this fresh, you know, excitement to the whole process. And I'm very amazed about his performance on the record, I have to say.
So let's talk about the tracks. And it starts off with Sounds and Vessels, which is pretty much an intro. At least that's the experience that I get. But an intro that's not just an instrumental intro, there's some vocals on it. Was the idea to use that as really an interlude to what the rest of the record is going to be, and make the song that comes after, which is one word, a bigger song without making one word like an actual physical longer song? It's almost like you're breaking one song into two.
It's more like, for me, one word is the first track of the record, and it was meant to be, you know. But we, as I said, all this journey thing, we like intros, we like, you know, to set the mood for the listener. And definitely we like this kind of intros where you have the introduction, like dramatic, and then you have the band playing as well, because then life is very fun to do, you know, and it definitely sets the mood. But on this particular one, we also wanted Danny to sing, for him to present himself to the public. You know, it was the very first thing that you hear in the record, other than the piano and all the ambient, is him like screaming. And we thought that it was something interesting to have him, you know, start the album. It was like you know, to give him some confidence, you know, and he, this is the new vocalist, and we are not hiding that. Is the frontman now, and it's what it is. But for me, one word is definitely the first track of the EP.
And it's the biggest song in terms of the impact and the volume and vocally. I don't think there's another song that's as big, as powerful as one word.
I agree. It's my favorite, I have to say. But as a full, it's like a very complete. You know, it's my favorite, and I don't play any guitar solo, which is something really weird for me. and I agree with that. So that is a testimony of how I like the song. You know, I definitely tried to put many notes, but it didn't fit. You know, so I had to let it the way it is, and I love it anyway. So it's a good song for me.
The track that comes after the Equable, that song, I felt like it starts to develop a little bit more of that atmospheric sound that takes a little bit more hold of the EP and the two following songs. Was the idea of that song to be a little bit of the transition between the big sound presence that one word has and what the rest of the record is going to be like?
That song, by the time I started writing Equable, we already had Lingua Ignota and one word written, and we knew that we wanted, like, the EP was about one intro, 3 beefy songs, and then the outro, you know, like these two tracks are a little bit like setting that mood, and then you have three beefy tracks. So by the time we started writing Equable, one word was done, and Lingua Ignota was written as well. And then we had this conversation about what should we do right now? We can go like balls to the wall and make like the heaviest, most technical shit we can come up, you know, with, or maybe strip everything and then try to play the most melodic and minimalistic song we can write. And since we are used to play all the notes all the time, we thought, let's try that. Let's be brave, you know, and take out all these layers of harmony and rhythmic ideas and many notes, and try to create one track that is heavy, but at the same time is easy to listen, but at the same time it sounds like Persefone. So it's the one that I'm scared the most, that one. But I'm happy with the result. I mean, we just tried to see if we were able to songwrite like a solid song other than a crazy amount of notes all the time.
And then after that, you have Lingua Ignota, which one of the elements of that song that I really liked was the acoustic guitars, not just at the opening, because when I heard them at the opening, I was like, I hope these guys are not just going to put them at the opening and then we never hear them again, because I always feel like that's a huge mistake. I feel like for the impact to be there at the opening, somehow you have to bring them back at some point so that there's a sense more of purpose and not just having the element there. And you almost took me all the way to the end before you brought it back, but you did bring it back. And I thought, okay, yes, this is exactly what I want. That element of the acoustic guitars, what do you feel it adds to a band like yours and to a song like that?
You know, the acoustic guitar thing was a therapy for me. You know, the band has been like together for a long time. We have a lot of albums, and when we started, we were very, very young. We were like in our 20s, and we used acoustic guitar since the beginning. Like in the first 2 records is plenty of acoustic guitars everywhere. But then everyone was comparing the band to Opeth all the time. So I was sick about that. But then, and I said to the band members, I will never, ever, ever ever write another song with acoustic and 3/4, bar, because I'm sick of the Opeth comparisons. But then I'm old, I have gray hair now, and so I'm
You're
mature
wiser.
enough.
You're wiser.
I'm wiser. So, we were like, why not? We can do that again. Why not? Like all flavors. It's been like 15 years, so maybe we can do that without anyone asking for Opeth again. So we did, and then you know what happened. In every review you can see like it sounds like Opeth again. So same things
But it's
happening.
greatly done. Is greatly executed.
Thank you very much. I like the textures that acoustic guitar brings, because the more different textures you add to a song, to me, we try to see the songs as soundtracks, if you will. And then when you have another different elements, like with the keyboard, we have all the pianos, so all the synthesizers, then you have the acoustic guitar. And if you are adding all those layers, it adds up to the journey side of the listener. I like that. So in this song, we just wanted like that to surprise again to the listener. Like, now that there's acoustic here, okay, where is this going? And then, of course, we will bear that in mind when we do part 2 or part 3, because those elements, like in the movie, maybe in part 2 or part 3 that happens, you know that acoustic guitar will happen again, and we will hope the listener to feel excited about it, like, oh, this is the part that I listened in part 1, and that kind of things we prepare with the time, and we find some magic with these kind of movements.
So I didn't compare you guys to Opeth, but I did compare Abyssal Communication with Sleep Token. I did do that. So I don't know if you see any comparisons there. Maybe I'm starting a new trend. So now we're going to move from Opeth to Sleep Token. But I hate Sleep Token. I'm not a fan.
No.
I'm not a fan at all. But this song made me feel so strange, because I'm like, I want to hate this song because I don't like Sleep Token and it reminds me of Sleep Token, but I cannot hate this song because I really love the atmosphere and the sound. So I was like, I want to hate it, but I can't hate it. Like, you guys really put me in a difficult spot.
Okay, first things first, I'm happy and glad you don't hate it. That's good. Thank you very much. No, I mean, I will be completely honest with you. And I will speak personally. I never listen to, I don't know how Sleep Token sounds, because every time, and you've been in this, metal scene for a long time, I can tell. There's this, trends with some bands is everywhere. And then I'm sure that they are amazing band and they are the shit, but every time everyone is listening to something, I refuse. It's like back then with Periphery. I never listened to them. And back then, when we did Spiritual Migration, everyone was telling to us, oh, this is so Periphery. It was like, I never listened to them. Then after some years, I listened to them and they were amazing. I mean, I love them. But it's like with Sleep Token, maybe in 2-3 years, I will listen to them and I will be completely in love. But at this point, we never listen to them because I don't want to. I will wait. So maybe there's a similarity, but definitely it's not an influence.
Yeah, it was by accident. Well, I'm not gonna tell you not to listen to them. Me personally, I'm not. It just doesn't do it for me. And I mean, they're super popular right now, but
sure.
it just doesn't. It just for me, music has to make me feel something. And if I don't feel like the music is making me feel something, or giving me a sense of a journey or a path, and making me feel different things throughout that journey or path, it's really hard for me to connect to music. It feels like it's like having a McDonald's, right? Like, okay, it's okay, but it's not like a chef cooked meal. You know what I mean?
Sure. I don't know. We had this conversation like 2 weeks ago about sleep, because the sound engineer, he likes the Sleep Token a lot. And my point was that I'm sure that these guys, I mean, you don't get that big if you're not very good. That's it. I have the feeling that they are so accomplished musicians and professionals, and they're putting out something really unique. I'm sure. I mean, it's just that I refuse to do it right now. I will wait. I do the same with TV series and movies. If everyone is, Game of Thrones, I never saw that yet. I will wait. Probably is not never, Probably it's great. I will do it maybe now that everyone is in another thing. But when everyone is on something, I refuse. So I will wait maybe 1-2 years, and then I will go, and maybe I will be completely a fan. But I don't want to do it right now. It's a personal thing.
One last question for you. You said that you guys are very busy with touring. I was super disappointed. I'm not alone, but I was super disappointed when you guys had to cancel your North American tour with Neo Blivascaris and Beyond Creation.
Yes.
I'm not going to ask you what happened, but what I want to ask you is, are you guys working towards finding a way to not obviously redo that tour, but somehow get to tour in North America at some point?
Yes. Yes, that will happen. I cannot tell you much more right now, but yeah, it will happen, and we are hoping to announce it anytime soon. But yeah, definitely we were devastated about that. We really wanted to go there, and after that happened, we got another offer, and it looks like we will be able to do that one, and it's a very good one, and we are very happy that will be able to join, and I hope to give you more information soon. But yeah, definitely we are coming back to the US.
I was super disappointed. I went to the show. I went to see Neo Blivascaris and Beyond Creation because I know the guys from Beyond Creation really well. So I went to the show. But I've seen both bands multiple times. I'm not going to lie to you. The band that I was really excited about that bill was you guys, because it's not like we get to see you, all the time here. So I was like, oh my God, they're coming. I'm so excited to see them play live. And on a lineup with two bands like Beyond Creation and Neo Blivascaris, you guys would have fit perfectly. I think it would have opened, I think it would have opened the doors for a lot of people that may not know the band. You guys would walk away with a much larger fan base.
Definitely, it was devastating because it was all about logistics and economics. But yeah, it is what it is. We tried hard to be there. We hate to break commitments, but definitely now it looks like it will happen, and the bands involved is fucking amazing. I'm so happy because I'm a fan of the bands.
So we can know for sure you guys are not going to be coming here with Sleep Token.
Not because I don't know if I don't know yet if I'm a fan. Maybe yes.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying. So if you're saying that you're a fan of the bands, I know.
No, it's not. It's not.
All right.
It is not. It is not. But I think it will be great. And also, we're planning to do a very special show for US when the time comes. So yeah, that will be very amazing.
Well, I'm looking forward to the announcement. Carlos, thank you very much for your time today. All of the best to you and the gang. Say hi to everybody for me. And I'll see you in North America when that happens.
By the way, I keep watching your videos all the time for you to know your YouTube channel.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it.
Yes, I do. And I love the way, every time I want to know anything about one album or whatever, I love to listen to your opinion. And yeah, you're spot on all the time, except the Sleep Token thing.
We'll have this conversation 2 years, 3 years from now when you listen to the band.
Yes.
Then we have this conversation about, was I right or wrong?
I will have a t-shirt probably with the, Sleep Token by that time.
I have a feeling you're gonna like them. It's just maybe it's me. Maybe it's just me. You know what I mean?
Probably.
It's like when it's like when your girlfriend breaks up with you. They always say it's not you, it's me. In this case, it's not Sleep Token, it's me.
It's you. Yeah. Probably. if we talk again in the Lingua Ignota part 2, probably I will be now will be a fan probably by the time. Okay.
All right, Carlos. Thank you very much for your time, man. All the best. Take care.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye.